Hi everybody, this is Gaby and I'm back for another video. I figured today would be a little bit of a short video because I wanted to do a little bit different, something a little bit different. I wanted to take a moment to sort of talk a little bit about my anxiety and how it manifests in me, in my body. I saw a video the other day on TikTok which I thought was really, really interesting. It was really cool because it was a person sort of explaining what anxiety felt like or what his interpretation of anxiety was. And I thought that was really cool because it's sort of similar to the things that I experience. Now, the other day I had a question from a friend asking me what exactly anxiety felt like for me. I feel like we tend to misuse the word a lot. People will say, oh, I'm just a little anxious, or I'm just feeling a little bit anxious. But what they really are feeling is maybe just short periods of concern, and that will go away as the day progresses or things evolve. But anxiety, at least for me, is something constant. And the best way that I could potentially probably explain it to you is by talking a little bit about what it feels like to go on a roller coaster, right? A roller coaster, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. So what I think of when it comes to the emotions that I feel is what you usually feel like when you're in a roller coaster. So it will start really slow and you will continue going down an easy path. And all of a sudden you're going up and you're starting to build that tension, that momentum, that something's about to happen. And so that expectation that you're about to reach the apex, the highest point of the roller coaster, right? Of the, I guess, road, trail, I don't know. And then you're about to go down, that feeling, that expectation, right? Sometimes it feels like instead of being, for example, for somebody, it would feel really exciting, right? You're about to go down this hill. For other people, it's fear. You feel constant fear. So when I experience anxiety, right, it's as if I was constantly going up, knowing that eventually I'm going to fall. And so that fear manifests usually in my body, in my stomach. I feel sharp pain, constant pain, because it's not like it happens one moment and then it goes away. It's something that is constantly going on in intervals. So it will be like you reach that point and you go down and you feel that sensation, and then you go up again another hill and you go down, and you go up again and you go down, and you go up again and you go down. Now try to imagine that feeling in a constant interval the entire day. And so that's exactly what it feels like for me. Now I think I've gotten much better at knowing when I'm feeling it and what to do to sort of mitigate the effects of it, because it will cause immense pain, physical pain. Sometimes it will just put me in a bad mood because I cannot get out of that state. And it's sort of like a combination of adrenaline with constant concern, and it feels horrible. Another way that I can probably explain it is as if you had a glass of water, right? And so picture that you're seeing somebody holding a glass of water, walking in a what do you call those? I can't remember the sport. zip. It's kind of like when a person walks on a zip line, maybe. Like, that sport where you have to balance yourself and you have to like cross to the other side, but on a rope. Like, people will walk on the rope, so you have to really trust your instinct, and you kind of have to balance yourself. But imagine watching somebody do that, but holding a glass of water, like a really full glass of water, and he or she can't drop it, can't drop a single drop. So not only are you protecting the water, but you're also protecting yourself. So just watching somebody do that and, try to reach the other side, you will feel that tension, right? What's going to happen? He's about to do that. She's about to do that. She's about to fall. Oh my God, a sudden movement. And it gives you that sensation of, oh my God, you're in constant fear and concern. And it just keeps your body always ready to fight or flight, right? Now multiply that emotion for like 100 times during the day. That's what anxiety feels like for me. It's just constant concern, not concern, but just that emotion that you're always preparing for the worst. That's what it feels like for me. And it could be applied to anything. Let me give you an example. Today, I went to a hardware store and I purchased something that when I came home, I realized it was broken. So I had to return it. For me to go back to the store and return that, I got there thinking of the worst case scenario. I was picturing how I was going to talk to the person, how I was going to complain. I was imagining them refusing, accusing me of maybe breaking it at home so that I could get my money back. I was imagining all kinds of scenarios in my head that would, so that I could prepare mentally for what was going to come. It was just returning a product that was already flawed. So I got to the store with that sharp pain, like constant pain. I would think about it. And sometimes you forget because you're also doing other things. But the moment you think about, oh, I'm about to get there, or where's my receipt? It's that feeling again. And it's that feeling again. And you're in constant concern all the time of the worst, thinking of the worst thing that can happen, preparing for the worst scenario or case scenario, like I always say. And by the time, and it's usually how this happens, by the time I got to the counter and I talked to somebody and I was ready to just argue my point, it was actually easier. It always ends up easier than what you picture in your head. Somebody came, checked the product, and they okayed it and then gave me another one. And that was it. But for me to go through that process, it was just constant fear. Not fear. I don't like to use that word because it's not like I'm scared or anything. It's just that I'm thinking of all the alternatives that kind of puts my body in constant fight or flight. And so it's like this and like this and like this. And I'm constantly thinking of the worst. Another example is for instance, so today I had to go to the bank because I have to solve a personal matter. I'm basically trying to access my mother's account because she is in another country. Gave me legal permission to do that. And even though I have all the legal documents for it that they asked for, I still, every time I think about it, like, look at me now, I'm thinking about it and I'm feeling that rush of going down, up the mountain and going downhill. I'm just feeling that, like, that sensation of like, just constant physical tension, that I have to solve this problem. I have to take care of this errand. And even though it's super easy, I got the documents right here. And I have to go to the bank and just talk to the person and explain what happened and argue my point, and not even argue, just present it and then get it done. I'm feeling that going up and down, up and down. And that happens for everything, not just any area, not just specific case. It happens for a lot of things. And so I feel like sometimes people confuse the terms, you know, anxiety with maybe like short periods of concern or stress. But anxiety is so much more, I think, and it's constant. It puts your body. People see me sometimes and they look at me and they ask me, "Why are you worried?" They'll see me in the streets and they go like, "Why are you worried?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not. I'm just thinking. I'm always in my thoughts." But if I think about it later, I'm constantly in anxiety mode, and it's that always that tension. Even my body sometimes will be tense. People tell me, "Are you worried? Are you okay? Are you cold?" Somebody asked me earlier, like, "Are you cold?" I'm like, I'm not cold. What am I doing this? And it's that I'm anxious, and my body knows it, and it's just like sort of holding tight, holding tight and trying to go through those emotions. And so I wanted to take today to share a little bit about what it feels like for me to have anxiety and what it really is like. I hope I explained it as best as I could, but what it really is like for me to experience it. And I gotta say, it's not for everybody, because this constant physical tension, emotional tension, leads to depression. And I've been diagnosed with chronic, oh my God, I can't talk, depression when I was younger, but I'm already, healed and out of that stage. But it can lead you to that, because normally you're preparing for the worst all the time. And so that leads sometimes to negative thinking, and it just turns a lot of times into depression. So I just, wanted to take this moment to share this, and maybe anybody that is watching this maybe feels the same way. I want you to know that you can work, if you do the work and you talk to your therapist and then do the exercises and find the things that will make you feel better and alleviate those symptoms, you can live with anxiety. It's not easy, it's not pretty sometimes, but it's definitely doable, and you can live a happy life. You can live a normal life without, or I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to promise the best because I'm not saying that I'm living my best happy life, but within the parameters of like what's doable for you, I think you can do it. You can manage it. And I'm doing it. I'm doing the work every day. Every time I feel anxious or my anxiety peaks, I take breaks. I focus on my routines so that I can lower or mitigate the symptoms. And so if anybody here is watching that experiences or has even worse symptoms than I do, then I promise you can find a way, you can do the work to find your recipe to treat your anxiety. And yeah, I hope this video worked for anybody, served anybody, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.